Hey guys, this is the Titan. This is the Titan crew. I have a special guest today, man. I'm so pumped about this. Devon, you guys know Devon Larratt is a arm wrestling champion, but to me, he's much more than that. To me, he's much more of a modern day gladiator, a guy that served 16 years in the military, special forces, did 7 tours in Afghanistan. Now that's just military, which I respect more than anything else. Before being a world champion arm wrestler or just a great guy, it's just him serving like that, and that stuff's the biggest thing in the world to me. It's so big. So I support the military, and that being said, this guy is a world champion, both right-handed and left-handed, and there's a chance that you're going to be able to see the Titan, me, take on Devon here in no, just kidding. You're going to see me actually take him on in Las Vegas later this year. So I'm pretty excited about this, guys. Let's bring Devon in. All right.
I got to say, before we get started, seriously, I'm such a fan, man.
Oh,
seriously. Like, I grew up in love with bodybuilding. You've been on every single magazine cover. I mean, I remember walking in when I was young, and dude, you look even better today than you did. How awesome bodybuilding is, you know, strength, performance, longevity, dude, you're killing it.
It's
awesome.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. And I got my whole team here, and I was just talking about you.
Joe, look, it's Michael.
Yeah. Hi there. So I'm gonna wait to go live on this. Your phone's going?
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, it's recording.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I hope it's lined up right.
We're gonna go live here in a sec, and what I want to say is that, brother, you to me is a true, or like I would say, it's like I was born a gladiator, but you're really living it and stuff, and so utmost respect, but more respect for you because of how you carry yourself. And you know what? Everybody I talk to says the same thing. It's like you carry yourself in such a peaceful warrior state, because I know what you can do to somebody, and I know what you're capable of. But the way that it's a beautiful thing to watch. It really is. It's like watching a lion walk, and he's very calm and cool, but you know what he can do. And so for me, as a gladiator, I appreciate everything that you represent as how you carry yourself as a person. So, man, huge props.
Thank you so much, Mike. Seriously, means so much to hear that from you. It's incredible. I've been lucky to get to do a lot of the things that I really love to do with my life. I fell in love with fighting and fitness and strength from a young age, and I've been lucky to be able to carry that on still today, and still having fun with it.
Let's backtrack. Let's not backtrack. Let's go from now, and then I'm going to take you back, because you just said something that makes me think. It's fun to do something once and to be a champion one time, and it's fun to go through that process and to become that for a moment. Yeah. But something that you've been able to do is you've been able to do this for a long period of time, and to me. Right? I mean, you know what I'm saying here. It's like longevity wins over everything, instead of just that, the guy that goes, hey, I was something in high school. Yeah, but that's, almost 30 years ago. What did you continue to do, and what did you continue to do over a period of time? And so you still doing this, and I want to make this clear. You're not just still doing it. You're destroying people. You're a Highlander, you're crushing them, and so it's not like you're just doing it as a hobby. You're still just so incredible at the pinnacle of the world. So what is it? How are you able to do this when so many peak in high school, peak in college, peak by 25?
Yeah. Well, look at I mean, you're way past what I am. Okay. You've done the exact same
You
thing.
just called me old. I appreciate that.
I always tell everybody, you see Mike and you think you're ageless, dude. You're 25 still. So
Thanks, brother.
I think for me it was it really had to do just loving what you do. Really, that's the base of it all. To start at the beginning, I just thought one of the first things I remember really identifying with was how cool it was to be strong.
How old were you at that time? What was that age?
Probably 4 or 5. Yeah. And I remember exactly what it was. I remember exactly. It was pumping iron. Yeah. It was the book. So my parents had a library and they had tons of books. And there was 2 books that I really looked at. The one book was Pumping Iron. And I remember I was like 4, right? My brother was like, check this out. And I'm like, oh my God. It was Arnold and it was just, and I'm like, I knew right there that I had to strive to be like that in some fashion, just I saw strength as a kid. I was like, that's so awesome to be strong like that. Like you can be that. You can be that as a person. This is one of the things you can do as a human. So yeah, and I just chased that and it led me down a path. And there was other things that I kind of fell in love with along the way as well. But man, if I can ever be more like that, I'm all in, man.
I love that you got it at such a young age. Because I see
How
these.
old were you?
You were young. I was 8 when I was already training every day. When I was eating right every 2 hours, trying to beat all 4 of my older brothers and my older sisters with training longer than you train 3 hours. I'll train 4 hours. But I was like you, 6, 7, looking at the magazines, going, "This is cool. Whatever this is, I want to do."
There was another big. So when I was young, like when I say young, I mean public school, high school, really kind of general, like bodybuilding, basketball, martial arts. But there was nothing that really twisted me. It wasn't until after high school, I went out west. I was working oil field, and I met a dude who completely blew my mind. This guy was like a total Wolverine, like real life, like 165-pound guy, just shredded, like moved like fire, so fast all day.
Moved like fire.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just ripped through the shop. He was on a completely different level physically than anybody in the shop. And it was a company called Nowsco. It was a service company for the oil field, and had hundreds, probably like 500 or 600 people in the shop, and all like dudes between like 19 and like 26 for the most part, and everybody arm wrestled, everybody. And I was a pretty strong kid already. I could beat everybody except for Dion, and it just blew me away how this guy was just so many levels past me.
Wow,
in something that So that's what gave me the bug to kind of launch on what I've kind of held on to, throughout this whole period.
Let me stop you there for 1 second, because when I weight lift, my mind goes somewhere else, and it goes to a battle. When I grab the bar, I think of grabbing or grabbing a hold of a man's wrist and breaking the wrist. When I grab the bar, when I get in the motion, I don't have my partners scream for me, because I'm already in my head and I'm already fighting in there. What is it when you started arm wrestling and you were wrestling him, especially him at that moment? What was it that was in your mind when you're fighting another man, you're giving it everything you got, and you couldn't beat him?
Yeah. It's very personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very personal. Yeah.
Because that moment set you up.
Yeah. I mean, at that moment, I was really more or less, you know, like a kind of breaking of my own ego and, you know, just a realization of how great this dude was and how I had so much to learn because it didn't add up in my mind. Yeah, I mean,
I know it's a tough one.
yeah, like so much of, I mean, you think about what it is that actually hooks you. I was thinking about it the other day, and there's something about strength training that I feel that, you know, there's a lot of different parts of fitness, but there's the pressure. There's just the base pressure you feel on your body. And there's something about arm wrestling where you can really engage your whole skeleton. You know, like we say, test your frame. Arm wrestling is kind of one of those sports where it goes beyond just musculature.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. I know.
You can put your whole bone structure involved, and it's like your whole system can fail, and there's a lot of pressure. And it's that pressure to me is there's something about it that I really like.
It's addictive.
Yeah, it is.
It's really and I've never thought about that, but it is because I always think about the fight in my head that trigger, the chip on my shoulder, that I have to go in every day, every morning. Got to go train. I got to go train. But that pressure is a cool little thing because that's that fight within your body, yourself, to manhandle that and just to be able to. And then at the same time, you're against somebody, and you know it's that whole wrestling mentality. When you grind another man's head and you break his will, that's an addictive kind of.
It is.
That's an addictive rush that you can't get from winning the lottery or buying a house or something. It's a different world.
You know, people set PRs. You know, when in combat sports, you know, a person is a PR.
Yeah.
You know, like these people, these are your weights. You know, and you're just going through them, and you're like, how far can you go? And yeah. I got a big one coming up.
I know you got a big one. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. It's 2 more weeks now?
2 weeks. 2 weeks tomorrow. And this is a huge one. It's a huge one.
Tell everybody that may not know about this.
This could be the biggest match of my career. Really. I mean, that's the way I look at it. So right now, arguably, the very best arm wrestler on the planet is a guy called Michael Todd. He's an American. He's from Arkansas. Super bad dude. Super, super bad dude. He's been in the top 10 for like the last 15 years. He's gotten very, very good to a point where the scenario that kind of unfolded, so all the leagues are dead. WAL, PAL, these are the 2 big pro leagues in arm wrestling. Because of COVID and whatever, they've ceased activity for the last good year and a half. Now, Larry Wheels, who I love, has recently fallen in love with arm wrestling himself. And that's the next thing that Larry's conquering. And he started a promotion out of Dubai. So Michael Todd was supposed to arm. So Michael Todd is the best guy in North America.
Okay.
He was supposed to do a unification between the WAL and the PAL against this guy, this total, oh my God. Have you seen Levon Sagnashvili?
Is that the hands?
Yeah, now there's a few guys with
Okay.
There's a few of them. But
can you show me a picture of him?
Levon is a guy from Georgia who is, if there's another guy who's the best in the world, it's him. So that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Levon and Michael. Now, why the match didn't happen could be a whole bunch of reasons, okay? But for whatever reason, they declined the match. The East declined. Okay, so after that's the guy. That's the guy. You know, people talk about how do you get good at anything? have a last name that ends in Villy. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, those Georgians, they're really on another level in so many of the strength sports. But so anyways, so the match fell through, but the opportunity was still there. And the match was offered to me, and I was like, yes, something to take me out of this darkness.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the last 4 months, I have been probably the most focused I have been in my entire life. My stomach has been distended from morning till night, every day, all in the name of strength, all in the name of just winning, beating this guy. So we're 2 weeks out, and I'm in the final, just staying hydrated, resting, just doing.
Now,
all the
I don't
right
know.
stuff.
I don't know if everybody else will pick up on this, but people say, "Hey, Mike, how are you still passionate? You've been training for 44 years." I'm still passionate because it's that battle every day. I can feel your energy just looking at you, and I'm getting tingles and excitement for you to do this battle. And I think that's the coolest thing. Being an athlete, I think it's the coolest thing to be able to see somebody that's been doing this for over 25, 30 years that's going to go do this. And this is now the hardest you've been training, the hardest you've been focused. Your stomach's in knots because you're so freaking excited and anxious to do this. That's passion. You bleed it. You bleed this.
It's so much fun. I'll tell you, there's something about being able to put all your work into one single moment, you know?
Yeah.
And there's something about, again, that pressure, right? That level of pressure that you can give yourself. It's very addictive. And it's hard to get. It's hard to get that. And I was given an opportunity to have that. Shot at the world title against a guy who, the thing that's really nice is when you don't know that you can win. You know, I legit, I'm probably the underdog in most people's books. I have been the world champion before. I had surgery. I've come back. This is in 2017. I made the decision to chase the open weight world title again. So, you know, it's 3 or 4 years later, and this will, dude, like, you gotta come.
Yeah.
Be my corner.
This is going
party with us.
This is going down to Dubai.
Yeah, come.
Oh my gosh.
Come. We'll take care of you.
I love this. I think this is the most badass thing. And I know that I wanted to get you on and show the fans what's coming up, because I want to keep talking about this over the next couple weeks going into this thing. And I just, it just is, I'm pumped for, I feel like I'm doing this with you. So it's pretty darn exciting for me to see you do this. Question for you. How has the training changed now that you are, listen, you're going, this is it. This is the shot at the title. This is the big one. How different is your training now than when you were 25?
It's a constant evolution for me. The lifestyle that I've chosen has been very hard. I've had a lot of injuries throughout my career that have forced me to kind of adapt and continue to kind of rebuild myself. And, you know, I'm a lover of fitness, okay? Love it. It's probably the number one passion I have in my life. And I'm always trying to learn. And I've gotten to a point where I don't want to seem arrogant, because there's so many people who know way more than me. But a lot of what I do is experimental. Okay, so, you know, I take what I know, I keep that as my base, and most of what I've been doing for quite a while is I kind of play with stuff. There's a very interesting experiment that I've done for the last year and a half, which flies right into the face of 90% of what we know as fitness athletes. It has taught me so much. We have a very interesting phenomenon in the sport of arm wrestling. Arm wrestling attracts a certain type of freak, okay? All right, one of the freaks, now there's a few freaks that come in. And when I say freak, I mean like people that are special, like people with like potentially a disorder, but the disorder lends itself very well to the sport. One of the types of people that come in and do very well are these kind of one-armed people. And what I mean by one-armed people is they have very different size arms. I don't know if you've seen them.
I have.
Yeah, so that they'll have like one arm that's just super jacked. And the other, and it's not just the one arm, it's like, and the rest of their body is relatively normal. Yeah. And, you know, there's a few different reasons why this happens, but one of the reasons why it happens is they have a blood flow disorder. Okay, so it's basically from the time of birth, the way that the blood pumps through their bodies is the one side just gets way more circulation. So I started to play with these theories, and another thing that I noticed is anytime my one arm got hurt, the other arm would just like instantly get stronger. Anyways, so about a year and a half ago, I went down this path and I called it the way of the giant pumpkin. You know about pumpkins? You know about growing giant pumpkins?
Tell me.
Okay, so you pinch off all the flowers on the vine except for one. So for the last year and a half, I have only trained my right arm for arm wrestling. I am more specialized than I have ever been in my entire life. And now I'm a guy who's done, like, I've done fighting, I've done bodybuilding, I've done basketball, long distance running, I've done all sorts of stuff.
Right.
I was a soldier, you know, you got to be your whole body. But I realized that there's something to this circulation and focus of like just directing nutrients, just to one part. And this will be, so in 2 weeks, this will be the unfolding of this experiment. Yeah.
Let me jump back for everybody that's listening to this today, because you said a couple things. First of all, you basically mimicked Bruce Lee. You took a little bit from the champions, and then you kept what worked, you got rid of what didn't, and then you made some special decisions for yourself, your unique self. And so I love that aspect. And that comes, so if the kids don't get this, well, how do you get that? That's being in the trenches. That's being in the grind. That's doing it over a long period of time. It's not something you're 19 and you go, I know how to do all this and I can adapt to it all. That's years and years and years. And something else I love that you said is you talked about the pumpkin and about, let's focus on this. Well, that goes back to my philosophy about training. It's like in today's day and age, and I wish I could tell my young self, and I'm going to tell everybody here right now, what he just talked about is pinpointing what he needs to make the most powerful and let the rest basically relax. And I don't understand why bodybuilders or kids that, and I wish I had done that. If you got great quads, relax. Focus on the hamstrings. You got great triceps, focus on the bicep. Your body can only regenerate and feed so much. And if you're trying to do everything and you already have some things that are good, and I'm talking about bodybuilding, is let those things relax a bit and focus on the others. You'll come back around to the genetics. So what you just did is you took your one arm to another level. At any time, you can just balance it back out. But you need this up here. You need it to be peaked here. And to do that, you had to break this down here or not even worry about this as much compared to where this was going for you. And even if that's 1% better than you've ever been, that's the 1% you needed.
Yeah. Really interesting, though. You know, you have a hypothesis, you know, you think it's going to go a certain way, and there's always stuff that is unexpected. to me, the biggest shock. Now, I think it's good. Like, I really do think that my right has measurably grown, which is something that really hasn't happened really for most of my career. So that's interesting. I have gotten actual muscle growth out of this process.
So what you're saying is you're going to pop the top.
What's that?
You're going to pop the top. You're going to pop the top.
Oh, come on. They're gonna be like, you're the most lopsided dude ever. Put the top back on. Put the top back on. I'll leave that to you, Mike. I'll leave that to you. It's interesting though. My left is what actually surprised me the most.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing, because you train so hard your whole life. I think anybody like us who trains their whole life, there's some kind of overflow that goes on. Like, the rest of my body did not deteriorate.
Yeah.
And that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a total deterioration and I was okay with that. Yeah.
No, I know you were mentally set for that.
Yeah.
Because it was about the one aspect. But I think what I'd love to hear is because you're forcing this to go one level, the rest is still flexing. The rest is still growing. The rest it's getting rest and it's still flexing through things. It's still doing the work. So it doesn't atrophy. I don't know why people think if you don't train your arms, they atrophy away. Well, not if you're eating right. Not if you're resting and doing a little bit of work.
Right.
It doesn't go anywhere. Now, if you want it to get better, sure, you got to train it more. But it's one of those aspects. My girl trains twice a week and looks like a freak. And people are like, wait a minute, she's 45 and just had a kid. Why does she look like a freak? Because she eats right. It's so I love to hear that you took this to a level, but it didn't leave this behind. It brought it up with.
So strange. Yeah, because I really was expecting there to be quite a fall away. And it's almost like the right side brought it up in a weird way as well. It's so weird. Like, that's the most fascinating thing about the whole experiment to me, is what happened on the side I wasn't working.
Yeah, you got to talk about that and write about that, because it's again, I think it's the philosophy of you can train and you're trying to give your body so much to the right, and you're trying to recover, you're trying to build it, you're training like a freak, but your left is going to get benefit from that because it's going with you. It's not like you detached. It didn't like go sit on the couch and play Nintendo all day like these guys over here do all day. But and I said Nintendo, just so you got that. The old guy said Nintendo.
I got 20.
So I think that's just athletically, I think people are gonna, even if they don't arm wrestle or bodybuild, to understand the philosophy is if you're taking something, your body comes with, the rest of the body comes with it and stuff. And I think that's a cool thing. It's like kids with scoliosis or something, or cerebral palsy, their body goes into a certain position, but that certain position for them is strong. And they keep getting stronger even if they're in that weak position. And so it's cool that your other side came up.
Yeah. Yeah, really neat experiment. So,
I got to jump into something. I got to jump into something that has nothing to do with arm wrestling. It has to do with character and appreciation from me. Special forces. You did military. Went up to master corporal. Is that correct?
That's actually, I put in a memo to never advance. I didn't want to go in. All I ever wanted to do was be a fighter. That's it.
But you did do 7 tours.
Yeah.
In Afghanistan.
Yeah, I did. It was a great time. I'll tell you, I'm so honored to have gotten to be a part of all that. What a great group of people, to be in a group where just always felt safe, no matter what. I always
You're in the most dangerous. Wow, hold on. Don't jump over that. You're in a very Afghanistan, not a safe place, and you felt safe because of the crew you were with.
I always felt like I was with the most capable people that I knew. Yeah.
Well, first off, for me, it's I've done a lot of USO tours just because I try to give back in some capacity, so I appreciate what you did. But what you said was kind of a metaphor to me. It is because you just said in Afghanistan with the people you were with, you felt very safe. Holy shnikes! There's people that don't feel safe in their own house. I mean, I know that's a whole nother talk and a whole nother thing. We can go forever on that, but that's an amazing thing to be in that group. And I wish more people would be in that group wherever they're at. Mostly going through what we're going through with this craziness that the world's going through right now. To me, that was a beautiful statement because that just says so much to who you were with and how they made you feel that you could even feel that way.
Yeah. Well, anybody who gets to that position, they're not there for the money.
No,
they're not. They're there for a sense of service that is going to far surpass anything financial or make them be in any way, untrustworthy.
I did some interviews with SEAL Team 6, like Don Rosso and these guys, and the reason or the mindset that they have and you have is such an elite. It's an elite mindset, but it's also an elite appreciation to be able to do something at that level and do it for the love of what you're trying to keep safe. It's an amazing thing to me. So I just want to talk about that for a second, just because I appreciate the military so much and the people that are out there trying to keep the streets safe. That to me is so big. So.
Hey, well, Mike, if we can ever take care of you, come on up and we'll take you out. I've still got ties back to where I used to work. We'll show you all sorts of fun stuff. We'll have a fun time. Yeah, come on up and we'll bring you into the. I'll take you, the family.
I'll take you up on that because I think that's some of my most fun trips I've ever gone on. Is that I got to go over to Afghanistan and Iraq and do gladiator games against the military and joust these guys and do bull in the ring. It was fun too because I have video of me doing bull in the ring and taking these guys on. It was a blast. It's nice to go against guys that are like that too because that's a different breed. Let me know if when you're back. You're back.
They must have loved that.
Yeah, it's funny because if you beat up a Marine, they don't get up pissed. They get up and say, "Thank you for giving me all you got."
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But that's not a course. You say it like it's a normal thing. To you and me, it's a normal thing.
Right.
To you and me, it's a normal thing. Not to any of these snowflakes out there. Not to society today. Now it's you beat me. I'm mad. It's like no, you just made me better. You gave me everything you got. You challenged me. So I appreciate that. And with that being said, after you win this coming up, you and me are going to team up. And I don't know where we're going to do this. Maybe Vegas or something. We get them there. And we're going to go blow out, you and me.
I love it. Well, hey, I'm going to be going to the States probably end of July, beginning of August. I'll tour around. I'll for sure be in LA and I'll for sure be in Vegas. Couple opportunities. I mean, there's the Thor Eddie fight.
Ooh, that'd be a nice undercard, wouldn't it, for that?
Right? So, yeah. So we're planning, actually. Do you know who Eric Spotto is?
Where do I know that name?
Eric Spotto.
Oh, Spotto
okay,
Press?
so Eric Spotto, he's in...
Yep.
He had the bench press before Kirill and before... Anyway, so, yeah, he had the bench press record a few times ago. So he's in Vegas now. And he's actually, not a lot of people know this, but he was actually an arm wrestler before he even got a bench. He now again is chasing the arm wrestling world title. And he has a gym that's the best gym. I'll say it's the best gym. I think it's the best gym in Vegas, Sin City Iron. So we're thinking about doing an undercard before the Eddie and Hathor fight. That could be fun.
That'd be a smart call. Yeah. If you're in LA, you stay at my house. You and the missus. You guys are here.
Yeah.
some good Romanian cooking.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Some good Romanian cooking and some much talks. Let me jump back to something. Just so I want these. You have so much knowledge to give, and you walk around with a constant. For me, and everybody I talk to, it's not just for me. It is what you are. You walk around with an appreciation for life. I don't know if you know that, but you do. You went fishing with a buddy of mine here a while back and stuff, and we were all just talking about you.
Yeah,
and
Josh.
And he's like. I tried to give him the front seat of the car. He goes, no, you sit in the front. I'm going to sit in the back. You walk around with such an appreciation. What is that? Where does that stem from? What was it, the upbringing?
I just find that most people, there's a lot of excellence in most people. You just have to find it. And I'm more impressed normally by the other person. Really, like, I'm well aware of my shortcomings, so I don't really like to, we're all even in this life. We're all equal, and I like to respect people until there's a reason not to, and I really like. I mean, I've been given so much. I've been given so many opportunities, and I never want to, be disrespectful about that. Like, thank you, seriously. Like, this for me. This is amazing, It's really special. I mean, I've gotten to a place now where I'm starting to be recognized a bit, but so many people have helped me along the way, and I've been very lucky. Well, so much of life is luck. A lot of luck. There is.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot.